The email, sexydanceprocess.com.
What are the top skill sets you should highlight or focus on?
Got to be things that you can talk about.
Keep your face, your name in front of the employee.
What are things that they need in terms of soft skills?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How was your week?
They say only 5 to 10% of people say thank you anymore. Do you have a moment that I could share something with you? Oh, not a problem. Ask for permission. Be polite.
Having helped students try to get jobs after finishing the program, what are the most common mistakes you see with resumes that you just wish they would have cleaned up before they applied?
I see a lot of high school stuff that we try to educate our graduates to make sure that they're not putting stuff on there as far as high school, what they did in high school. You know, we're looking for, transferable skills, whether it's working at a Starbucks or, working in retail. Those can be transferable skills. Just depends how you word it. I've seen it to where you graduated in 2010 or whatever. You're going to start aging yourself before you even go into the interview itself. So I've seen those, but we were able to fix those before they actually went outside the door.
The email, sexydanceprocess.com.
Those are good ones.
You change that email.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. You really have that persona. When you start looking for jobs, you need to create an email to be just used for jobs or your future jobs. Leave your old emails behind.
Yeah.
What are the best recommendations on emails?
Straightforward, first name, last name @gmail.com. And if it's gone, add a number, whatever. But whatever is simple and easy, because not everybody copies and pastes your email. They will write it. So anything different, don't put dashes, don't put dots. Just straightforward words, make it real simple and easy.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Going back real quick on the high school stuff. So should they not mention they graduated from high school is what you're saying?
Right.
And then in terms of the year for college or high school, they don't need to put that, just that they graduated?
Correct.
College, if it's...
College,
yes.
college, if you graduated from a program, absolutely. But high school stuff, you see that sometimes to where they graduated in 2020, and then here they are, finishing the program. So the employer can kind of gauge to exactly how old they are, So it's just the little things.
Top 3 quick tips, make your resume stand out in the competition.
1 page. Make sure that you have a skill sets. So whatever skill sets you
At
have.
the very top, your skill sets, the highlighted skills, bilingual, and whatever your posting says. You put those keywords in that very top part. Those should be hit first.
Yep.
And then your certificate, license, degree right below that. Boom, boom, boom.
And for me, what I look at too is make sure that your resume is uniformed. You're not having white spaces on this side. Assuring that if you have bullet points on this side, you have bullet points on the. So basically, a full page, clean, uniform, because that's going to catch my eye. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation in terms of what goes first in terms of sections on the resume? You mentioned some about skills, so maybe skills and then...
Well, we have in Gurnick Edge, we have a resume builder. So we have 10, 15 different types of resumes. It could be still your personality, but each one has different layouts, but you're going to have first name, last name, and the skill sets we talked about with the layout.
Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
General audience. What is the best resume layouts, in your opinion, that they should consider?
Something that's straightforward, easy to read, that's legible, that has your name in a larger font, your skill sets below that. You do not need to use the word objective. That's gone. That's old school. You go right to the skill sets. Then below that, you would go to your education, and below that, experience. You do not need to put references upon request anymore.
And then reverse chronological for experience.
What you've done most recent to what you've done in the past.
What do you recommend in terms of skill sets? Because you can easily put 10, 20, 30, 50 things. Like, what are the top skill sets you should highlight or focus on?
Depends on the program, but it shouldn't be more 5 to 7. This should not be that long. Really should be very, very focused.
And it's got to be things. It's got to be things that you can talk about. So if you have some type of skill set, some type of bullet point on there, right, and you're not comfortable about talking about it, then that shouldn't be on your resume. So definitely something that you can talk about during the resume, that's going to be a skill set. Because that's what I'm going to ask. It says, whatever X, Y, and Z, tell me about X, Y, Z. Okay, tell me about it. Give me an example of X, Y, and Z, right? So those are the things that you have to make sure.
It's not that simple. If you're applying for a position in Fresno, and that positions that you're applying for, you need to do your research, right? In that area, you have Farsi, and that area has a high population of Farsi speaking people. That's the first thing that's on your skill list. Very first thing, because that right there will get you an interview. Because if they're looking for somebody like that, they're going to see that first. If you bury it in the resume or if you bring it up in the interview, they're never going to even interview you. They're going to interview you because you have your certificate, you have your degree, and you're speaking that language. So whatever, you have to research who you're going to go work for, and that's where you put the skill sets.
Fascinating. In terms of the job experience, how do you recommend they kind of lay out what they did? Do you have any recommendations on how to convey what you did?
Bullet points are the best way to do it. Very simple, straightforward bullet points with maybe 2-3 items under each work experience. Very straightforward, and it has to have action verbs. And after the action verbs, very straightforward. Don't put a lot of fluff into it.
Do you have a couple examples on what those bullets could sound like?
Direct patient care for adolescent children, if you're going for that kind of position. Work experience directing and working with Alzheimer's patients. Very specific.
Yeah.
Bullet points.
Yeah.
It has to be very specific to the facility you're applying to.
The top things you see people not doing or should be doing during their interview.
What are they doing? Well, first of all, they shouldn't offer any personal information, right? You're talking about in-person interview, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be a phone call or virtual. The first thing is if it's virtual or in person, first thing they should do or shouldn't do. They should dress appropriately and they should have good posture. What they shouldn't do is talk about their personal lives. They also shouldn't be late to an interview. They should make sure that they're always looking at the interviewer's eyes and being very straightforward. Don't look around. Talk in a specific tone of voice or loud so you can hear me. What they shouldn't do is talk about their family or their friends or what they do unless it's asked upon them. And they might say, well, what do you do outside of work that gives, you can relax and, de-stress about? Other than that, everything's about the education and your work experience.
How do you recommend somebody who has a scheduled interview coming up best prepare themselves to have the optimal experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's about being over prepared. You want to go visit that facility the day before you're going to go. Little things like that. You want to make sure that you do your due diligence as far as researching the company, knowing what their mission statement is, all those things that pertains to that particular person that you're interviewing with or that company you're interviewing with. You got to do your homework.
There's one question that always rings in my head that I teach everybody is, what makes you different than any other candidate that interviewed today? And the best way to answer that question is, I took a tour of your facility before the interview.
Yeah.
I've learned this about you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I have researched your company, and these are the awards you've won. And your mission statement rings to me quite well because that's how I live my life. So it's all about research and really understanding who you're interviewing with, because you're not interviewing to get a job. You're interviewing to have a career, to work for this company for some time. Anybody can get a job. We need the person that wants to work for me and you understand what I want. That is what we really teach.
That's fascinating. And in general, people say do the research. How? Where do you go? Do you go to a website?
Yeah, I mean, most facilities have a website, and you just kind of go in there and see who maybe the CEO is, or see whoever is working there, the DSD, the DON, those types of things. It's the little things, you can't take these interviews for granted.
LinkedIn, internet, Google. But what people don't realize is there's so much. We have career services, right? We work for Gurnick. We have a database of information. We are a database of information. You call us and say, I'm applying to this company. Can you tell me about them? What are some of the people that work there? What do you like or don't like? What have you heard about them? We can share so much information with one of our students or graduates that they can never find on the internet. That is what we provide as a service.
Students who go to a college, whether here or elsewhere, what can they expect as support or services from their career services department?
Depends. I went to a state college. They had a job posting board and they had an office where they posted jobs. That is what I got. We had an individual here earlier. Her name is Nima. She went and she graduated from a college She had no idea how to interview. She had no experience. She didn't know what the interview questions. She actually went to the internet, but she said her interviews were miserable. She finally got a job. Well, after working here as a career services coordinator, she's amazed by what we provide, what we do for our students. Other schools provide similar stuff that we provide. And I'm proud that they're doing the same thing because we do it for the right and the purpose of the student going to our school, that they get a great education. We teach them how to present themselves and how to get the job and how to keep the job. That's what we do. And we hope that our other school partners do the same, but our expectations are high and we hold our career services people to those high expectations.
Colleges, career training schools teach a lot of foundational knowledge, hard skills. What are you seeing, especially with newer generations, younger generations, as soft skills that are direly in demand? What are things that they need in terms of soft skills that will help them get the job, keep the job, succeed on the job?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How was your weekend? You know, it's the little things, and these are the things that we teach our graduates.
Opening the door,
Yeah,
sitting down, and when you go to an interview, you don't sit down until the interviewer sits down. All of the skills that we
Yeah.
were taught or our parents were taught many, many years ago, we're bringing it all back. A lot of the skills of the past have gone.
Mm.
The professionalism, the niceties, the sending a thank you letter, but that's called snail mail. So send email, send a text, phone call, say thank you. Those simple things, those niceties are gone. It's looking the interviewer in the eye and smiling and talking to the interviewer, asking questions, coming prepared. I think the best interview I ever had was somebody I said, do you have any questions for me? She said, oh, absolutely. She opened up her portfolio. She had a yellow pad with 3 pages of questions. She put it in front of me, flipped the questions. She said, I've got a lot of questions. Which one? And I'm like, okay, well, let's read one question and we'll see how far we get. Well, not only did she read a few questions, but she emailed me a handful of questions after the fact and said, could you help me with these? I ended up hiring this person. So it's going that extra mile. It's being prepared, being polite, being professional.
So following up on that, what are things after the interview that the person can do to give themselves an edge after meeting with the company, with the potential employer?
I would like, if I recruit, so I would like a phone call. Hey, just following up, and I'm going to say, well, I haven't made a decision yet. And they're going to say, understandable. I just want to let you know that I'm still interested. Oh, by the way, during the interview, there's a question that I answered. Do you have a moment that I could share something with you? Oh, not a problem. Ask for permission. Be polite. Send me an email. Thank me. Come back to the facility. Say hi to the receptionist and say, hey, I'm just here to let your boss know that I was interviewing a while back and I was in the neighborhood and I'm real excited about the opportunity. I hope you guys keep me in mind. Keep your face, your name in front of the employer all the time.
Wow.
They may not choose you, but here's what's going to happen. They didn't choose you because you were the right fit, right? But let me tell you, every single one of those people have friends in other facilities and they're going to say, I just interviewed somebody. I want you to hire them. Because I can't, because we needed this person with this degree and this language, but I got somebody. So ask for referrals. Ask people for referrals. By the way, hey, thank you so much. I understand that you probably can't tell me why I didn't get the position, and that's okay. But is there anybody that you can refer me to that might have a similar job? Ask for it. Well, all they're going to say is no, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be your own advocate.
Yeah, I think a thank you card goes a long way.
it really does.
It does. It does for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten our coordinators thank you cards, 99 cents, right? I mean, big old stack of thank you cards get given to our graduates, and what we do is they'll go interview with you and maybe get your business card, go back into their car. Thank you, Mr. Nick, and for the interview, blah blah. Come back and
Hand it to you.
hand it to you.
And don't have it pre-prepared.
Yeah.
Put on
That's it.
something that happened during the interview, a question
Yeah.
that it doesn't look like it's pre-prepared and it's personal. Those people, they say only 5 to 10% of people say thank you anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
That's actually incredible. Not just a thank you note, but actually take the time
Yeah.
to give a detail that actually shows you did this after the fact.
Correct.
And it's not just mass produced.
I've seen so many positions being offered just because of that thank you card. Maybe on the fence, but that thank you card just kind of took them over the fence. Or like Dave said, I have another doctor who's maybe hiring down the street or whatever. So it's the little things, But that's where those soft things come in handy.
I think you mentioned earlier something about almost 40,000 jobs deficit for nursing. People considering going back to nursing school, what would they want to tell them to convince them to consider going to school? And
You got a twofold problem though, because COVID caused so many problems. People don't want to go work in the field because they're scared. But we're past that now, right?
Yeah.
We're past that now. Some people believe that maybe it never even happened. Some people believe it was a farce. Some people believe whatever they believe, right? But some people feel like, I don't want to go back. So we lost those people forever. Okay. Some of the other people are like, well, what a great profession to go into because people really care for them. They really care about them. So what are they doing wrong? They're not really doing anything wrong. I think that the public just needs more information, and that information can come from internet. It come from commercials. It come from television. It come from stories of all the wonderful things nurses do. People know what nurses do. I think it's going to be one of those things that we just have to wait it out. That in time, more and more people will see the value of nursing. It's not just a very well-paid profession, but teaching at one time was well-paid, and people really, really loved teachers. That's changed. The teacher profession is just losing people, and the nursing profession is growing because they're valued. So if we continue to value and show the value to these individuals, we'll see that change very rapidly.
Yeah, about making a difference.
so we're in a situation of deficit, but you see it as the trajectory is positive. We're already working.
I think it's working its way back up again. The other thing is the nursing board, and especially California and other states, they've opened their doors. They've opened more programs. They've allowed schools to be a little more creative, but we still have the rules that we have to follow. We have certain guidelines that we have to do. And one of the great things is, back in the day, it used to take 6 months from the time to graduate to get your license. Now it's 2 to 3 months. So they're providing better ways. Schools like us are doing a lot better job of getting students in the field prepared, and helping them get their license, and then getting them in the field. So it's just one of those time things. It's going to take time.
Going back to the direction about materials that are related to job application, cover letter, is it worth it?
Yes and no. I would say in the written form, if you're going to write and hand to somebody, it doesn't really mean anything anymore. Most jobs now you apply online, so you just copy paste and put your resume online. So they don't really care for cover letter, but there also is going to be a subject area, a very small area where you're going to put you have to make it 1 or 2 sentences, and that's it. However, a lot of old school employers, Central Valley, other places, they want to see still a cover letter. They want to see a resume in their hand. So you have to know who you're applying to and provide them with the right tool. Your large Kaiser, Dignity, Sutter, they don't want a cover letter. Your John Smith Convalescent Hospital, they're going to want a cover letter and a resume.
What's a funny story you've heard from our employment partners about a would-be interviewee? Something interesting or strange that might have happened during the interview? Or I've even heard some of the younger people are bringing their parents along. So
But
what have you heard?
that's a good one. Well, the one I enjoy is the interview went really well, and the recruiter and the interviewer is like, "I'm going to offer you the job. I'm excited. Here you go." And the candidate's like, "Okay, great. I'll take the job. The pay is perfect, but do you mind if I work from home 2 days a week?" And the recruiters, the interviewers are like, what do you, this is a nursing job.
As a nurse.
Well, I understand that, but because COVID, everything's changed. So I would like to work two days a week, and I'm going to work on the job. And they go, "What are you going to do?" "Well, there's plenty to do. I can do reports and other stuff." And I go, "No, it's a nursing job." And they go, "I understand that, but everybody today is making allowances. So can you make an allowance? Because I really only want to work 3 days a week in the office, and I want to work 2 days at home."
For a job that clearly involves face-to-face patient interaction.
And I've heard this story many times, not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times, and from different employer partners. So, times have changed. COVID's changed our whole world, our attitude, our ideas. We have to remember that, in the nursing profession, it's on the ground job.